All right, folks, welcome to the Harmless Dave channel. My name is Harmless Dave. Thanks for being here. I got my good friend Tommy DiCarlo on with me today. Tommy, how are you?
Dave, I'm good. How are you? Happy holidays, my friend.
Yeah, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you eat too much?
I think I had one serving, one plate full, and I called it a day.
All right, yeah, we know you got to keep that rock and roll physique, and
Well,
it's tough out there. People are looking at you going, "Hey, he's a little bit, his stomach is kind of hanging out a little bit." I get that's really you're not Mike Reno, so
I've had that before back in 2008, that I was a little heavy, so
yeah. Well, anyway,
and there's nowhere to hide behind a microphone, so I got to do the best I can.
yeah, and you look good. You and I are about the same age. And by the way, folks, I had this sitting here, and so I wanted to showcase this for the audience. This is Tommy DiCarlo's album, "Dancing in the Moonlight." A lot of good autographing on the front cover of that too. If you haven't heard this, folks, you really should go listen to it. I believe you could still order it for Christmas. Makes a great stuffing or stuffing stocking stuffer. It's a great album, Tommy. Did you get a lot of positive feedback about it?
I did. Very thankful for that. It was a fun album to do. And speaking of that album, with the new single I just came out with, which we'll talk about here in just a minute,
Yes.
I was contacted by Frontiers about possibly doing another album. So
Nice. Well, I
you
mean,
never
this
know.
one, the first one was good. I like the first one, which is in here somewhere. I just couldn't find it in time for our little talk here. But this one, I think, was, it had I think, a little bit more of a bite to it, a little bit more grit to it at times, and more AOR oriented. I think both albums are fantastic. You write most of these songs with your son, or how does that happen?
Well, for me, yeah, the writing process will start with me, depending on, it could be a melody or a lyric that'll come into my head. But for that particular album, though, that was really a lot of Frontiers and myself
Mm-hmm.
um, writing. But the first album was, I'd say, probably 90% myself.
So on this one, did you work with Alessandro Del Vecchio at all?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He flew the coop. I don't you probably already know
Good.
that.
I,
Yeah.
I, I was sad to know that. I hope he's still doing his music because he's great at it.
He's very talented. I think he was a little overburdened there. And probably under a lot of pressure because someone would show up and they'd be like, "Hey, can you make me an album, Alessandro?" So, and that's what he did. So anyway, you got a new song. Tell us about the new song, what it's about, and how can people listen to it now, or and
Yes.
where can they find it?
Yeah, it's on all the streaming platforms. It is called Living Without You. And we released it maybe a week ago,
Yep.
five,
Yeah,
six
you
days ago, something like
yeah,
that.
you let me listen to it. It's a home run. It's like a DJ's delight. It's like a 3 minute track, and it's got a nice intro. I mean, it's just great. I mean, it's people, you gotta go listen to it because it's the way music used to be made. But interesting subject matter in the song, and I think you said you might have a story about that.
Yeah, I do. The inspiration for the song came after a failed relationship, in this case, a breakup, which my son was at the receiving end of. And, that was not only hard on Tommy, but it was also hard on our family because we were all so close, the two families.
Yeah.
And
Now, did your son did he write any of the song with you?
no, he did play on it, but he didn't write any of it.
Wow. So this was your kind of like your view of what happened, and then you did it. I bet you it didn't take you too long to write the song.
It's funny because it really was one of the easier songs that I wrote, that I have written. It didn't require a whole lot of thought because everything was kind of laid out in front of me. You know, when you're involved with your kids, such as I am, especially musically with Tommy, and you see the relationship that he's in, you're in the relationship kind of yourself because you're around it so much. So, you know, when that relationship unfortunately, hit a sour note for whatever reason, I still don't know what that is. Um, it was hard for me to see him go through that heartache. Again, he didn't initiate the breakup. He was at the receiving end of it. And I basically took what I seen and I put it to music.
Right. Now,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so the lyrics, you write the lyrics first, right? And then you try to find a decent, and you found a great melody for this. When you write, do you write on piano? Do you write on guitar? How do you go about doing that?
It all basically starts on the piano for me. A piano or a keyboard. I'll get everything. I'll basically lay this, map the song out where I think it can go, where it should go. And once I have it all done musically on the piano, then I'll start working in the instrumentation. You know, I'll already have ideas of guitar work, bass guitar work, vocals, Um, I like,
Nice guitar solo, obviously, because
yeah,
you're
wasn't
you're
that
like me.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the guitar solo was a guy by the name William Jacobson, and he's he's overseas, but we worked together on this song, and he also played on a couple of my other songs. But he's kind of a melodic genius when it comes to his guitar work. And
Yeah.
Tommy did most of the rhythm guitar, and of course I don't play bass or anything, so we hired out for that, but we got a session musicians for that. But the process of writing is if, at least for this song and others that I've written, it was a healing process. For this song in particular, it was a way to express myself through music, which is a big part of my life. And I believe it was very helpful to Tommy as well. And, failed relationships happen, it's part of life. I think the way we handle that, those things could be done a little differently sometimes. But when you spend a lot of time with a family and you grow to love them and you're thankful for them, I think it's tough to watch that come to an end. I mean, like the holidays, for instance, this year, this will probably be the first year that we're not spending the holidays with that family.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I have some wonderful memories of the times that we did share together. I don't really look at this, David, as a problem as much as I do an opportunity to to look back, to be thankful, to learn from these experiences and move forward in a positive way.
Yeah, and I think music can certainly be a healing thing. A song, a good song like that one. But throughout my life, I can think of songs that I listened to that was just like, hey, this gets me out of the funk I was in, or maybe I'm still remembering this and I needed to hear this to kind of
Yeah.
get through it, to cope with it a little bit. So it sounds like a pretty sad thing for your family and for Tommy, your son. So any other tracks written or just that song? Do you plan on doing some more stuff? I know Frontiers, I guess, is interested in you again, so maybe you're gonna have to write some more songs, right?
Yeah, that'll probably put me back on the writing block. it starts with one song and you're kind of happy when it's finished, but then, when a record label such as Frontiers reaches out and says, "Hey, we like that. Do you have any more?" You gotta go dig down deep and get back in the studio and come up with some new stuff. So at least I got a nice one to start with. And for me, if someone likes that, then I'm gonna probably do everything I can to write kind of in that genre,
Yeah.
with that same feel. And if I can come up with another 7 or 8 songs, who knows? Maybe we'll have another album released through Frontiers.
It's interesting, right? So you were a singer in the band Boston for a number of years, and I kind of liken your work, though, the stuff that you do as a solo artist or as a separate entity, almost like the RTZ band a little bit. Brad's little thing that he did there. I think he had two
Yeah.
albums, and then I think they released some other stuff later on that he had recorded but never got on an album. That first RTZ album, uh, it had just a little bit more pop in it. But I think, I could hear you singing those songs. Have you ever thought of bringing out like an RTZ song in your show?
Yeah, we have done this song Until Your Love Comes Back Around,
Great song.
isn't
Great.
it?
Top
Love that song.
40. I was
Yeah,
in top 40 at the
yeah,
time, and it's kind of a ballad,
yeah.
and it's a killer ballad, and I don't think
Yeah.
the radio has played that song in like 30 years, but it's a
And then
great.
him and Barry Goudreau also, Brad and Barry also did Rockin' Away, which
Yep.
love
That,
that song.
yeah, that was very Barry. You could tell that was kind of like the
Yeah.
the really good, and he is so underappreciated because of the genius of those albums and the way they were put together. But you needed somebody who could bring that live, and Barry Goudreau, who I believe is still around up in Boston every so often. He's got a band and he goes out there and he plays gigs. But I
Yeah.
think people forget how important he was to that sound that Boston had.
Yeah, great guitarist. I've never met Barry. I seen him at the tribute show, but he didn't know who I was, and I don't even think I knew who I was at that point. But
That's a good line.
but you know what though? I mean, even after Barry, Gary Peel also
Yep.
plays some of Barry's old parts to a T.
Yeah, it's a
Wonderful guitarists. They both are. I think the original lineup, the original touring lineup, I'm a fan of.
right.
I'm glad that I was able to be a part of something that they were. I've always said I was always so proud to stand where Brad once stood.
Hmm.
And I think for people who really know me well, they know that I could only wish that I could be that good of a singer. I do the best I can, but you know, nobody has to tell me that I'm not Brad because I know that.
Yeah.
But his vocal style, the way he carried himself, what he did on stage is what inspires me to do what I do. And I'll always be thankful to not only Brad, but to Tom and that whole original lineup for being such a huge inspiration, to me musically.
Yeah, I know it's controversial to come out with opinions. But I'm still gonna hold to the idea that the debut album, the Boston debut album, I think is the best AOR rock album ever produced, ever made. Based on the material and just the one song after another. Growing up with this stuff, and this, good rock stations played every track on that album. And it was, I mean, the second album came out and everybody's like, what a disappointment. Now, the second album is good. It's got a lot of great stuff on there, but almost impossible to come up with what the first album was. And I'm sure, when you go out there with your band, you got to be thankful for this material, which it has stood the test of time, with all the different trends and fads and everything that come and go. And you're like, ha, I'm gonna sing this right here, and that's that's something. And your voice is perfectly suited, Tommy. I don't say that as just a friend, but I say it as a fan. When I first heard you singing these songs, I was like, wow, they found a ringer. I said, they found a
Oh,
ringer.
thanks, David. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to me to go out and, kind of, bring this music to when I'm not doing them, when I'm not out with the band Boston. It means a lot to me to go out there and perform the music to a standard of, it may not be the standard of a Boston show, but we try our best. And people love it, people still love the music. They still want to hear it live. It's my hope that Tom will fire up the mothership someday soon and go do it again.
Yeah, it would be cool.
But I wish I knew more, but I don't. But if we go out again, I'm certainly hopeful that I'd get the phone call and we'd all go out and do it again, because there's nothing that I think touches any of us in the band more than going out in front of 10, 15, 20,000 people and just bringing them so much happiness through, Tom's music. And
Right.
that's, and I, of course, on a smaller scale, I do that when I'm not out with Boston, but, to actually go out with Tom Scholz and, the current members of the band Boston is, it's such an experience. It's almost beyond words, but it's a wonderful thing. I love doing it, and I hope we get to do it again someday.
Yeah. Now, you guys, though, your band, I mean, you're playing gigs these days and you're out on the road. And you told me that Jason Sheff now, you've been hanging around with him. He's not a bad singer, huh?
Man, he is a tough one to listen to, especially if I got to follow him. There's some nights where he'll open and some nights where I'll open. We'll kind of co-headline, but man, Jason is just he is a great singer. I mean, what you hear on the radio
Yeah.
is what you'll get live when you listen to Jason.
Yeah, he hasn't lost anything at all vocally. In fact, Bill Champlin, in an interview, said that he thought Jason was a little pitchy when he was in Chicago, and he said now Jason sounds much better. Like he sings like he's not worried about being Peter Cetera anymore. So he
Yeah,
just lets
yeah,
it loose, which I
yeah,
think is accurate. I think Bill's pretty
yeah.
smart, so I'm going to go
Yeah.
with what Bill said.
It's funny. A couple months ago, we were playing some shows in Canada, and Jason and I were sitting in the lobby of a hotel, and his phone rang, and it was Bill. And I had met him that day on the phone, and we had a great conversation. But the combination of the two, between Jason doing the Chicago music and me doing the Boston music, it's they really complement each other, because you're not really getting an overload of classic rock per se, with hard charging guitars and the stuff that I love with the band Boston. But Jason will come out and you'll get a different side of that classic rock with the horn section and the keyboards and the ballads. And again, he's we have a great time. Jason is a amazing vocalist, a great songwriter, and we just have the best time together. It really is a blessing to me to be able to rub shoulders with people like that, who I remember listening to on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, when I hear him singing live and I'm sitting backstage, I'm like, man, I got to go out and top that, or at least
Well,
try to. So,
well, again, I love, talking to you is fun because it's like talking to a buddy about music, and we both kind of have this same perspective on a lot of music. And it's interesting, like Jason Sheff, who had almost an impossible task. I mean, the only guy probably had it worse than Jason Sheff was Steve Augeri, right? But Jason Sheff comes in there and he's still with David Foster on Chicago 18, and I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh, this is going to be rough. And then out of the gate, he's got a top 10 single. And I think that broke the ice for him. And he knew, hey, I can do this. And I think a lot of the fans were like, okay, we didn't think Chicago would work without Peter, but apparently Chicago can work without Peter. And he was with Chicago for 30, or I think it was 28 years or 30 years.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
yeah, sure.
And he just killed it. They used to send him out there alone on a keyboard. I saw this show in, I think it was Cohasset up near Boston, and they just sent him out with a keyboard, and he did "Will You Still Love Me," and the place went crazy. I mean, he
Sure.
just was
Yeah.
hitting every note, and he had the charisma, and I'd never seen him play a keyboard either, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I saw that and I told him about it. I said, I didn't know you played. I mean, he's a great bass player.
oh, he's a killer bass player, killer.
But when I saw him sit down at a keyboard and play and sing, I'm like, man, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, and those guys were probably like, "Good, we could take a break. You go out there and entertain." There's some stuff. I don't think the current Chicago lineup really likes their '80s stuff as much as some of the fans like it. And I know Jason has picked up the slack. I know when Jeff Coffey goes out and does gigs with Bill, that they do all of that stuff that isn't either on the radio anymore or was somewhat overlooked because they wrote a lot like 18, 19, even Chicago 21, which a lot of critics don't like. I think is a great album. But I mean, you must just be really happy to be out there with Jason Sheff. That's a cool gig.
Yeah, it's a great time. We also do some private shows where I've done some stuff with Mickey Thomas,
Yeah.
Starship.
There's another guy whose voice is still intact. I don't understand
Yeah,
that. I don't get it. It's
yeah,
some kind of freak of nature thing, but
yeah. Great voice, wonderful band because I played with his band. Um, Mark McGrath, actually, Sugar Ray.
yeah.
We've done some shows, and Mark is, man, he is like the best to talk to. I mean, he's great with fans. I mean, when we have meet and greets, we kind of let Mark take over, and he greets everybody. He's so awesome. I mean, I love the fact, and I say this humbly, that I can pick up my phone and text a Dennis DeYoung or text a Mark McGrath or a Jason Sheff, um, Mickey Thomas. Uh, I'm still a fan.
Right. Right.
So it's really nice to shoot Mark a text a few days ago. Hey, happy holidays. Have a great Thanksgiving. And I haven't even set my phone down. He shoots me right back. And it's pretty awesome. I mean, that's a gift in and of itself, a Christmas gift for me. So I'm so thankful for that opportunity, and I look up to these guys, and they're very supportive of what I do as I am them, and we all have a great time. Be it again, we'll do a lot of private stuff, but also the shows I do with Jason, those are really just the most fun to do. I love doing it, and I'm thankful at almost 60 here in a few months that I can still sing. And I actually think I'm a better singer at 59 than I was at 42. How that's possible, I don't know, but I'm thankful.
It's the same logic as how you get to Carnegie Hall, right? It's practice, practice, practice. So if I'm a fan, which I am, right, and I want to go see Tommy DiCarlo play a concert, maybe with Jason Sheff, maybe just solo. What kind of schedule do you have? You taking a little break for the holidays, or where are you going to be next?
Yeah, we do. We are down for the holidays, but actually, we do have one show coming up here in less than 2 weeks in Michigan. We're doing a casino gig out in Michigan, which will be nice to get everybody back out on the stage again. But we're putting together some dates. Our manager is. I certainly wouldn't be I wouldn't be having the fun I'm having if it wasn't for him. He does a great job, not only managing and booking my show, but he handles so many other things involved with this, with our band, and he puts us in a great position. So, we have I have a lot to be thankful for this year, and including you, David. I'm so happy that we got a chance to catch up after so many months.
Yeah, you're going to be my first interview on the new Harmless Dave channel, so that's going to be cool, right? You're being
Yeah.
like the maiden voyage of the interviews. And just, again, folks, you're looking for a Christmas gift. Tommy, do you make any money off of these?
I'd rather not say.
All right, so
Um,
just get it because you want to listen to Tommy DiCarlo. And oh, actually check out the new single, right? The new single is everywhere. It's streaming everywhere.
yep.
Can they download that off of Amazon? Like they want to pay for it? They want to what do they
Yeah,
spend like a
I believe,
dollar?
yeah, it's if I'm not really up on all the streaming stuff,
Yeah.
but my son does all that stuff for me, and I believe you can download it, I think.
Yeah, you got to bless the DiCarlo family, all right? Bless this man. He's still bringing it. He's still delivering great music. You're going to do this right until you can't do it anymore, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. I feel that I was blessed with a gift, and I cannot give up on that gift. So I'm gonna run with it till the wheels fall off.
And Tommy, you know that 60 is the new 40, right? You know that. So you don't have to worry about 60. It's just a
Oh,
number.
absolutely.
Yeah. Or at least I keep telling myself that. All right, Tommy DiCarlo, brother, from my family to yours, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year if I don't talk to you, which, you're welcome to call me anytime, brother. If you need anything from me, I'm here 100%.
Yeah, of course, David. And speaking of families, the same to you, and the same to all the families out there that we've had some wonderful relationships with over the years. And even those we lost touch with, we still love you. And we couldn't be more thankful for the memories that we all once shared. So if you get a chance, go check out the new single, Living Without You, and come out and see a show one time. I think you'll enjoy that too.